So there's this guy online, his name is Benny Lewis, and he has a website called Fluent in 3 months. And he basically gives a promise that you can become fluent in 3 months in any foreign language that you want. And I want to talk today about if that's actually possible, if you can actually become fluent in 3 months. And a little introduction, I read his book in 2015 when I moved to Spain to study there. I had the same problems as he had, that I was just hanging out with international students, so I was speaking English a lot. Even though I followed some courses, so I understood some grammar, I learned quite some words. Just speaking didn't really work. So that's kind of funny. Then I read his book, and then I met a Russian girl while studying, and now 5 years later, you could say that I'm fluent in Russian, so something different happened. I also even wrote for Benny's website a couple of articles about Russian video games and Russian films, so that's also cool, like the circle is around. Let's get back to the topic. Can you become fluent in 3 months? The short answer is no. Most people cannot. If you define fluency as being able to basically do everything that native speakers can do in that language, so which means that you can read the newspaper, you can read books, you can watch movies without subtitles. So you can just watch movies for me in Russian, but you can also just freely have conversations about almost any topic. And if you were to be at a party, or maybe not a party because it's very loud, you'll be sitting in a cafe with a native Russian speaker. You'll be able to talk about most things that native speakers will be able to talk about. And in that case, it's probably not going to happen in 3 months. Unless, and there are a couple of ifs, of course, like if your native language is another Slavic language, or even, for example, Ukrainian, you're from the west of Ukraine, and you want to learn Russian, it's going to be quite easy because from the beginning of your life, you've had a lot of Russian influences. Like you heard the language a lot as well because there are quite some Ukrainian TV programs that are in Russian. So if you then want to speak the language and you spend 3 months in Moscow, like it's going to be easy. Like you don't even need to put too much effort into it. Same thing goes for example, you're a Polish native speaker, then learning Russian will be a lot easier than if you're a Chinese or an English native speaker, because those languages are just a lot more different. Then in those cases it might work, especially if you are also able to spend, let's say, 4 hours a day studying, and it's basically the only thing you're doing. So if you're studying Russian in university, then you got plenty of time to focus on that. Then it might work. Also, if you're Benny Lewis, like you're a polyglot, you've already learned 10 other languages, and then you want to become fluent in another language, you already know the exact method, process that you need to do, and you also move to that country, then yeah, chances of you becoming quite fluent in that language are high. So yeah, it's fair. But for most people, like you just, like, you know, maybe one or two other languages, or maybe none. You just had, let's say, some French or Spanish in high school, so you don't really have the right process in place in order to very effectively learn, then probably you're not going to become fluent in 3 months. For me, before I could consider myself, like the points that I said before, I could watch movies, read books, speak about almost any topic. It took me like 2 to 3 years in Russian. That's already quite a while. So now it's 5 years, and now I sometimes or relatively often get mistaken for a native Russian speaker. I guess speak to people and they're like, oh, I didn't know that you were, like if I speak to native Russian speakers, like, oh, are you not Russian? Like, so that's good, but that comes with time. Probably not gonna happen in 3 months. So yeah, that was the short answer. Also a little bit why there are some good sides to this become fluent in 3 months, but there are also some downsides. Let's first start with the upsides of kind of this mindset of becoming fluent in 3 months. It's great for motivating people, because in reality, like getting to a good level in a foreign language can take a couple of years. But if you would put that on a course or on a website, like put the harsh truth out there, it's gonna take a while, then a lot of people would be saying, no, I'm not even gonna start this because it will take too long. I got plenty of other things to do, and learning Russian is not gonna make me more healthy, earn more money, or so in a way, it's kind of pointless to learn a foreign language if you take, like, it's not the most important part in life. If you think like, I need to spend 3 years before I get like to the level that I really want to, then yeah, most people are not going to start. Some people will, of course. But if it's like, hey, you become fluent in 3 months, I can do that. I can spend 3 months learning it. And if I then speak at a good level, I'll be happy. Thing is, if you spend 3 months doing something, anything, for let's say an hour per day, you're going to become better in that skill than many people that have tried doing that. If you take a good approach, like a focused 1 hour per day, you're just going to become quite proficient in it. And after 3 months, you can already have basic conversations in a foreign language, especially if you speak a lot. Then it's going to feel like good. It's going to feel good since you're already making progress. You're like, hey, I like doing this. I'm actually achieving results. I can have normal, simple conversations with people, especially if it's like a quiet place. And you're going to continue because we humans, we like doing what we're good at. So if you say like, oh, I'm already good at this, you're going to continue. And once you get past this first hurdle of like a couple of months, it's going to be way easier to actually make it to those 3 years of studying a foreign language, and then you are going to become fluent. But if you would have taken the approach like become fluent in 3 years, then no, most people would not have started. So in general, this entire approach is a good thing for the entire language learning community because it just puts a lot of motivation into people to at least get started, and that's great. The downside, however, is when people start to take it at a face value and think like, okay, so fluent in 3 months. So they really start checking their own progress with where they want to be. And if after 1 or 2 months, you're like, okay, can I have basic conversations? Then actually that's great. But in your mind, you're comparing it to speaking like a native speaker. Then you're going to feel like a failure. And then it's going to be very easy to say, oh, it's never going to work out. Or, man, this is really going to take me years in order to get there. And then you're going to quit. So that's the main downside of this fluent in 3 months. It just creates the wrong expectations that fluent in 3 months, no, it's not going to happen. But like I said, the good thing is that once you get through those 3 months and you don't take it as face value, this fluent in 3 months, then it's going to feel like, oh, I can just continue. So there are positives and negatives. Like with anything, it's a very nuanced view. There's no black and white. So if you want to learn Russian or any foreign language, basically, what would be my recommendations? I would say that trying to become fluent in 3 months, don't call it become fluent, but just take it, start as a sort of challenge, take those 90 days, those 3 months, and say like, you know what, I'm just gonna give learning Russian a go. I'm just gonna see what happens if I take 90 days and I just spend half an hour per day just learning it. And I'm not going to check my own progress, because most of the time for most people that works very demotivating, because you want to be here, but you check your level and you're only here, like at the even lower, maybe like like there you're gonna it still takes so long and every single day like practicing is difficult. Then yeah, it's just not gonna work out. You're gonna be demotivated, and the main thing is just learn something, like even if it's a little thing every single day, because then it just creates this momentum. And the more momentum you get, like you want to learn new stuff, then it becomes easier to learn more, and you also find it more fun. So just take 90 days and say, I'm just gonna give it a go. Don't look at any progress and just see what happens. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video of my thing, how I think about this entire fluent in 3 months. Please let me know in the comments what you think, if it's possible to actually become fluent in 3 months, or how long did it take you to become fluent in another language. All right, thanks for watching, and wish you a very productive day.